I think the appetite for the offering is not a surprise, but what will be surprising to the market is the fact that it may be going ahead and going ahead as quickly as is being talked about today. You know, the IPO has the ability to affect everything from the state of talks over Brexit, depending on where the IPO happens, all the way through to the price of oil itself, which of course we're talking about here in Dubai today. But it's a momentous event for the marketplace, and it says a lot if it goes ahead about where confidence is around Saudi Arabia, how Saudi Arabia is providing a leadership role in the oil markets, and all of these questions that have been actually adrift now for a fair few months.
How are we going to determine and measure the success of this offering?
Well, I think it'll be a question of how much of the company is listed, of course what the uptake is on the bonds. Everybody expects it to be high, but the question is how high, where it prices out will be watched closely by the marketplace. But also, there are a few other things we should be looking for too. How detailed, for example, is the prospectus that underpins the IPO? How much information is Aramco willing to share about the questions the markets have long had about its operations, its base of operations, and its outlook for the future? I think those things, the transparency that the company will offer, will not only drive how the company evaluates the placement, but also the placement of the shares itself.
I wanted to ask you about your outlook for oil as well. Khaled Al-Fallah also saying today that the JMMC meeting is going to be crucial to watch because this is when producers will decide on whether or not to extend the current production agreement. What's your read on the situation as it stands? Because the likes of Ed Morse at Citi say, hang on, this is not going to be extended, but other analysts that we've spoken to and also the Energy Minister himself have suggested that the deal will be extended. So where do you sit?
Well, here we are in April in Dubai. As you've probably seen and heard this morning, and we can hear right now in the room, the mood among those who watch OPEC closely, who are involved in OPEC, is a little bit celebratory at the moment. So, you know, the OPEC is feeling good about the steps that it took this year so far to, well, I think what it would see is correct the fall in prices we saw at the back end of last year. But nobody knows going into the meeting what OPEC will decide to do, including the most senior representatives to OPEC itself. Really, that decision will come down to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the UAE as the biggest suppliers of discretionary supply out of that group. And I think what they're thinking about more than anybody, and nobody knows the answer to this, is how the non-OPEC partners are viewing this relationship right now. I think OPEC has generally agreed around wanting to extend, is my personal opinion. Certainly, I think Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE want to extend, but will Russia support that is a key question right now.
Do you think Russia's overall commitment is starting to wane?
I think the commitment of all the non-OPEC participants is starting to wane a little bit. It takes tremendous restraint to observe these sorts of production curtailments when Brent is almost at $70 a barrel. It's always at these kinds of levels that we see general compliance start to fall off and compliance from non-OPEC members in particular. So I think there's a bit of a reckoning to be had between Saudi Arabia and Russia, and that's a giant geopolitical conversation of which oil production is only really one component. And I think that's the question that's really unanswered right now going into the JMCC meeting.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.